Greetings, everyone. It's Monday, the 19th of February, 2024. Got to remember the legalities. I'm a clairvoyant, clairaudient psychic, so everything is for entertainment purposes only. Please do your own research and form your own opinions. And for those that are new watching the channel, what I do is I go through many of the headlines on American and international news, and I take notes and I give you my psychic opinion on what's really going on. So the full disclaimer's down in the box, along with my email in case you want to get in touch with me for a private reading, and the buy me a coffee thing and the tip jar. So let's just go in. First thing we got to do is wish His Royal Highness Prince Andrew, Duke of York, a happy birthday. He's 64 today, and I hope everything is going well for him. What I've picked up, and I've more or less have had it confirmed, my opinions with a couple other psychics, is that once America has a change in political administration, Andrew will then be granted full immunity, and he will be able to reveal all the information that he gathered while working for the people in the Green Building and doing his James Bond thing. He will expose all the monkey business that was going on off down in Florida and the Caribbean, and that will also trigger the how do I say this nicely? It'll be a catalyst for the legal ending of a certain marriage. So that's what I'm picking up on that. And yes, he may be, he still considers himself married to Sarah, so whether or not they go through the legalities, that's a whole different ball of wax. They'll have to look at the financial situations. That will be the determining factor, whether or not they legally remarried, because in his mind and heart, he's never been divorced. They took their vows at the Abbey, and they basically have stayed with him, and he's there, sickness and health. So whether or not they go back to the legalities, that's a whole different ball of wax. Okay, so I caught a glimpse of this on one of the mainstream news channels, and I've been trying to poke around, find more information out. But I guess some poop has hit the fan in Minneapolis, and something's, a couple law enforcement and fire, first responders have crossed the bridge. But we haven't heard boo out of stupid ass Omar. Well, maybe if she stopped keeping her head covered, her brain cells might get some air and she could start thinking. But we all know that if it doesn't pertain to day-to-day life in Somalia, Omar doesn't care what goes on, especially in the place where she's supposed to be representing. And anyone who sees me on Elon, sees my profile on Elon's platform, it's Glenda the Good 17 at Glenda the Good 4. I'm calling out the stupid idiots all the time. I mean, there's Duckworthless, Dickwad, Castaway, Dumbo Delia, Cammy Poop, Gruesome Newsome. I mean, hey, I know I come up with my own names for these idiots, but hey. And I also use a lot of the, when you hit the shift key and all the little symbols that are above the numbers, so I can space out my, sarcastic comments. Yeah. I have to be careful what I use to call people out on. But yeah, now they're like, people are just going off on a tangent, and a lot of places are, not only are they trashing the representatives of the evil empire that are serving in Congress, like Omar and Tlaib, but some of the other squad members, I wonder if they are also members of the Sussex squad. You know, like Cori Bush, that idiot from St. Louis, and Cami Poo. I mean, yeah, AOC praises her, but we all know AOC is like a dingbat bartender out of the Bronx. But now everyone's calling out Cami Poop on her incompetency. And heaven help us if that's why everyone knows she's a complete idiot, doesn't know what the heck she's doing. And they're just cringing because, you know, when they 25 JoJo, what the hell is going to happen to our country? Even Nikki Haley, who's basically being supported by the donkeys, is saying, oh, the next president is going to be a female. It's either me or Cami. Yeah. They're going to be 25ing Biden out. I mean, unless when the DNC comes to Chicago this summer, they do a Dealey Plaza on JoJo. I wonder who, I mean, there's plenty of tall buildings that they could stick people up on. Yeah. Could be, yeah, I'm just waiting. I mean, this city is going to erupt. And that might be the downfall of, so they don't have to use the 25. They can use an alternative method to get rid of JoJo. Something big that's going to change the current admin will be happening at the convention this summer. I get images, but I don't want to have my channel taken down. It's bad enough they shadow ban me because I keep refusing to be monetized. And they keep taking numbers away, so hey, please, like, click the URL, do a copy paste, and go ahead, put it up on your own accounts on Elon's platform, or put it up on your Facebook pages or your Instagram, or if you're foolish enough to have that Big Red C application on their phone, yeah, go ahead and put it on what the clocks do, okay? So, I have to rely on we're starting to call it the Glinda Gals. If you can just bounce it around, you're more than welcome to. And if people have direct questions, yeah, reach out through my email. And I really enjoy the videos that a certain person continues to send me, and they use their phone, so it comes via their cell phone number. So I really appreciate it and enjoy the videos that you send me. Yes, so yeah, it's like right now, people are waking up. They're seeing how bad it is. And the real kicker, that some people are creating are putting people, some of her videos are really good and informative, but she's mentioning stuff right now that's kind of stop being a panicker. We know that, yeah, the truckers are basically doing a double middle finger to their trade union, because the trade unions support the donkeys, but the truckers are getting hit financially, and they don't like what their trade union supports. So the truck drivers are now saying, sorry, we're not using a bridge or tunnel to go into NYC. So people, hey, those who know what to do in NYC, they know a lot of times they go to Connecticut, they cross the bridge and tunnel, and they can take a commuter train to a suburb, in Jersey, do your marketing, and then you go back into the city. Because the truckers are not going into NYC with their deliveries. They just said, no, we're not going in. If the morons keep supporting this bullshit, Adam's apple, yeah, it's like a dose of apple a day. We'll keep the doctors away. Yeah, because the doctors don't want to have anything to do with migrants or him. So yeah, so people in New York, don't panic. And you've got Grand Central, you've got Penn, you've got commuter trains all over. You've got the ferry that takes you over to Staten Island. Yeah, there's plenty of ways that you can get what you need. You don't have to be dependent on going to the stores. Yeah, it'll be a pain in the ass to take a commuter train out and then an Uber to a shopping center and then back to the train. But at least Jersey and Connecticut, they aren't supporting the stupid migrants. So the tax dollars are going to Jersey and Connecticut, and New York loses out. NYC loses out big time. And so does Hochul, the hoe that runs the state of New York. I've been hearing that she's been losing. People are like bailing out right, left, and not just from NYC, but from other smaller towns. And New York is going to be in a real deficit. And now speaking of migrants and stuff, it's coming back into the news what Denmark is doing. Now, the stupid refugees, when they went to Denmark, they were seeking asylum from political and and warfare and all that nonsense. And they assumed that they would have a free ride for the rest of their life. But because they were ignorant and stupid and didn't pay attention to detail, for them to be able to come into Denmark, it was for a limited amount of time. And now Denmark is saying, no, you can't live here on our dime for the rest of your life. We're giving you 30K in euros to go back to your country of origin. And if you don't want to do that of your own free will, they're paying to move people back, plus an additional 30K to get them settled in their country of origin. You're going to be removed from your free housing. You're going to lose all that benefit income that you're getting. You're going to go into a detention center, a DP camp. So, you go back to Syria, or basically you're going to be in displaced persons camp and with no more freedoms. Yeah, a lot of the European countries are saying, either you totally assimilate, and that means you learn the language, you educate your children, you take off the hijab, and you are your own little clique. So these that want to be in their own little clique, fine, you're going to be in a camp, or you go back. Unfortunately, the United States isn't doing that because we've got Barry Soetoro and his Davos dudes running the show. And Nikki Haley is, let's put it this way, she does get money from the Davos dudes. Big time. She made all her connections and cut the deal when she was the ambassador to the United Nations. That's where she made all the connections and set it up for all these guys to pay for her campaign, because she would be Barry's puppet, Georgie Porgy's puppet, Klaus's puppet. Yeah. Nikki Haley is a puppet of the evil empire. Definitely. Now, more nonsense that the Big Red Sea is causing this, but poke around in the country of New Guinea. Now, it's a Southeast Asian island country, and it is still kind of tribal. Well, the government is basically, it's tribal affiliations, who's doing what in New Guinea. But up in the less urban areas, the old tribal chieftains still kind of run the show. Well, there's some stuff hitting the fan because some of the tribes are allowing the government to come in and strip their area of all sorts of natural resources. And there's other groups that say, no, we don't want our country destroyed and stripped of resources. So there's a lot of stuff hitting the fan. And it is up in the mountainous areas. And we need to keep an eye on what's going on there. Just like what's going on in Myanmar. Yeah, the United States is getting a lot of political refugees from Myanmar brought over. Where my neighborhood, we're getting flooded with them. And they're all military-aged couples. Because Myanmar, the government, the military booted out the other guy that was a Nobel winner. And they took control, and they have all these, they call the people who don't agree with the military way of stuff, it's basically a big pow-pow unrest in Myanmar, basically Burma. And the people that don't want to be aligned with the military, they basically have taken over the sections of the country that border China and Bangladesh. So is the Big Red Sea providing the necessary tools for these guys that don't want the military running the show? Is the Big Red Sea trying to turn Burma into another one of their puppet governments? Hold on 1 second. Someone's knocking. Okay, just my neighbor. He was taking the garbage out. He wanted if I had garbage to go out. I'm like, sure. It saves me from putting on real shoes to go outside. But yeah, take a look at what's going on in the Southeast Asian island countries that are basically from the main continent, that are all scattered through, going down to New Zealand and Australia. There's Jakarta, there's New Guinea, there's the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia. They're dealing with a lot of bullshit and a lot of infiltration from the Big Red Sea. And very rarely do we see information pop out, but the stuff going on in New Guinea right now is making international headlines. Now, one thing we did see is, I watched it yesterday. I did watch the BAFTAs, and of course, Prince William attended. He's president of the, British Academy of Film and Television Arts? Well, he was there, and the movie Oppenheimer, the story of the atomic bomb, basically collected a lot of little trophies. And it's kind of, that movie kind of, people are like, oh, I'm not going to go sit through that movie, yada. It's because most people don't want to understand. The movie did take a lot of creative license, but it did kind of stick to roughly the facts. They did a lot of creative license, but It's kind of, you get the gist of the story of, and if you do go to a trip to a big public library, you can do your own homework and find out how close to the truth that movie Oppenheimer is. I'm glad that movie Barbie got snubbed to hell because, okay, it took me 3 attempts to watch that darn thing. It is such a little Barbie. The woman who created that doll must be having snit fits because that movie was nothing but wokeism and misogynistic. It was just disgusting. It's like, give me a break. A lot of people, oh, it's cute, but there was so much underlying messages going through that. I would basically put that with a R17 rating. You don't want the kids seeing that. Or make it an X, 21 and over. That movie is basically just nothing but wokeness being forced down somebody's throat. And they think it's like, oh, so cute. I go, I'm sorry, but any credibility those actors had in there, I hope they're happy with the paycheck, because I don't think a lot of people will take them seriously after that. I mean, that's one of those films that is like just a piece of garbage. But we did see someone go out and promote and let people aware that, hey, he's dealing with his illness, but he still gets up and does the best he can, and that was Michael J. Fox. Yeah, he came out onto the stage in his wheelchair, but he was able to stand up and walk the few feet to the podium to give out the big award for the evening. And Canadian Michael J. Fox really does. He's a member of the British Commonwealth. He's a Canadian guy. He's doing more for his charities than he's done more. He did more in that 60 seconds than Rachel could ever do. And he brought more attention to his charities for research. And through the research and new medical findings, he would not have been able to get out of his chair and walk to the podium. So, we got to give big kudos to Michael J. Fox. Now, the big thing that's hitting the news, and I call it the modern day Vietnam because it's all over the news every evening. What the heck is going on in Israel? Well, they have given the evil empire of Iran, they've told Iran and told their little tentacle group, Hamas, that by March 10th, you dudes need to lay down the poo-poo pow-pows and release all the prisoners. They're not hostages, they're prisoners of war. And they're being treated worse than the Japanese treated the Europeans. Yeah, the evil empire has to have those dudes lay down all the pow-pows, release the prisoners that they've taken. Otherwise, they have to do it by Ramadan, which is March 10th. Otherwise, remember, Vietnam, there was a lot of tunnel warfare. The tunnels, they've gotten the, mainly have flooded out the tunnels in the northern section of Gaza. Well, now they're into the southern section of Gaza. And they're going to go after that. And people are saying, oh, so many women and children. Bullshit. The people who are the jihadists, life doesn't have the same value. Here in the Western world, we value someone's life. But the Shiite Shiite extremists don't. You see, for them, it's glorious to become a martyr. Children are taught from infancy that the best thing they can ever do is to die for Allah. So yeah, the jihads will continue to use women and children as their human Kevlar. These women will be the first ones to put on a vest that once they walk into a crowded environment, they hit the button, and everything goes boom. So let's wait. Let's wait. I mean, if they can get some of the infants out of Gaza, I hope they are placed with good Sunni families. Because the Sunnis have zero tolerance for what the Shiite are doing. Yeah. And all these little social justice warriors in the Western world, don't they, especially these idiots that are so confused that they're trans this, tranny that, those and the alphabet soup group, they'll all be asked to go play Superman. Find the tallest building and go ahead and jump. So, yeah. Of course, there's going to be a lot of protests, but the guys fighting for Israel against the jihad empire, evil empire, it's going to get real nasty. And I did listen to what's his face, one of the guys from Saudi. And if you listened between the lines, you could tell that they are fed up. And they don't want the Palestinians in any of the Sunni countries. Egypt right now, if you look at the aerial photos, is setting up basically a detention camp. You want to come in? You want to cross the border? This is where you're going to be, and that's it. So is Saudi. They're going to keep them extremely confined to less space. So, because the evil empire, people are saying, oh, we got to send money to the Ukraine. Bullshit. That money from the Ukraine and the supplies goes straight to Iran. Yeah. That's where it's all going. And part of that money is paying the airfare for those jihadists to enter the United States illegally. And Iran and everything buys so much shit from China. That's how come China is able to send part of their army to Mexico, put them on an air-conditioned coach bus so they can walk into California. So, like I've been saying to people, call your local county clerk's office, start petitions to eliminate the Dominion voting machines. Be a poll watcher. Volunteer your time for the day of the job interview. We must make sure that everything is a clean count. Even if it means sitting across the street from the door of where people go to vote to make their selection. Get a bullhorn. Ask them, hey, did you go blue? Did you go red? Are you a donkey lover? Or are you a proud elephant? And start keeping count. Rough counts. As people exit, more people will tell the truth. If the rough count number from people sitting across the street 100 feet away from the door don't match with what's sent out to the county clerk's office, you know bullshit happened. And right now, even the United Auto Workers, yeah, their union leaders are pissed because the union leaders are backing the donkeys. But the rank and file, they're all supporting Donald. All of us have to. And all of us have to stand up and make sure that the results of the job interview are clean and honest. Yes, I do my best here in Illinois to bug the crap out of Duckworthless, Dickwad, Castaway, and Dumbo Delia. Everyone else has to start doing the same thing. I may be one person making noise, but everybody else has a voice also. All you have to do is find out who your local rep and senators are and start hitting them where it hurts the most. Go onto the platforms. Make noise. It's easy to find out where they live. Go get a lawn chair, sit on the sidewalk in front of their house. And say, what, Ukraine is more important than the people in your home state? Aren't you supposed to take care of your legal residents first before you hand off everything to a frickin' person who came here soaking wet? We've got to really start making our voices loud. And even if you just say something to two people in a grocery store, keep going, and they'll tell two people, and it snowballs. So, I've rambled on for 30 plus minutes now, so I'm going to let you go. Yeah, it's Monday, so the next video is going to be up on Wednesday. So everyone have a great evening, and let's make our voices heard. Catch you on Wednesday.